We'll look up. We're getting ready to do the intro. It's on video.
I was making sure that all the levels were good.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Hollastic Life Podcast. I'm Jenny.
I'm Jay.
And we are super excited. We're here with an amazing guest. We are so excited. I mean, you can already see her if you're on YouTube. If you're listening, you can't even see her yet. But we are super excited. We are doing a chat today. We're going to talk about what it is and what's around being Fabbo. We're going to go a little bit into mindset things. We're going to go into coaching. And we have met one of the most amazing people. Her name is Bobbi Brinkman. And not only is she an amazing photographer in the wedding industry, and she's also photographed like hockey games and all kinds of other things, but she also does consulting and coaching and all kinds of amazing stuff. So we're going to have a chat today because what is coming on the podcast is some events that we have done with her on Clubhouse. And so we thought this would be a great way to introduce her to you guys so you can get to know her, and then you'll know what the heck you're listening to in the following episodes. So welcome, Bobbi.
Well, thank both of you. I am super stoked to be here. You know, one of my favorite things to do is to spend time with like-minded individuals and individuals that want to help everybody grow. And that has been the path that we've been able to cross with the two of you. So, you know, people always say that saying, people come into your life for a reason or a season, for staying or for leaving. I also think for growing. I think people come into our lives and our paths cross so that we can move forward, or we can also look at them and go, hey, you're here. I need to help me take a step back and look. And that's what I've enjoyed as we grow our relationships and we grow this teamwork that we have together. And I knew that there was something we had to do together. It was just trying to figure out what it was. So I appreciate all the time that you give me and all the space that you give me. And I'm excited to kick off this episode today, but also our series that we have going on in Clubhouse. So thank you for having me.
I want to jump in real quick because Jenny has like all the questions. She's definitely more structured of the two. But I want to touch base back where we first crossed paths in Clubhouse, back when COVID was running rampant in particular, the wedding industry was basically shut down, right? So everyone in that particular industry was looking for a place to, I don't think, not only looking for a place to go, but kind of being like, oh my God, this is crazy. What are we going to do? So that kind of built a support system. Absolutely. And in an environment like that, of course, you're always going to have the people who, you know, are trying to sell you something, who come across bigger than they are. But, you know, there's some very sincere, heartfelt individuals in there. And sometimes you gotta wait it out. You know, you got to watch that person, because you're like, okay, all right, okay, they're cool. Let's see, because I'm one of those people who watch patterns, you know, because you can talk a good game, but your actions and your patterns are going to let me know who you really are. And I think that's definitely one of the things that has brought us closer, Bobbi. And one of the things I appreciate you for is, like, every time I came up in the room, you challenged me to get up on stage, introduce myself, and talk more.
Right. Because if you don't share your stories, I don't care if your story is that, you know, I grew up in an orphanage, or I lived in our car, or I lived in a mansion on Beverly Hills. Your story will inspire others to believe that they can do what they see you doing. But you hit the nail on the head. It's your actions. People show you what they want you to know. People show you who they are. So listen, I think Oprah or Maya Angelou always said that, right? People show you who they are. And through the process of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I haven't done anything else. The Clubhouse grew, the Wedding Pros Club specifically has like 15,000 members in it. Probably 1,100 are active. But at the time, we were packing 600,000-700,000 people in a room, all looking for guidance.
Right.
All looking for that, oh my gosh. And what they found was community. And the community was, oh my gosh, thank heaven this isn't just happening to me. Because for the first time in the wedding industry, now I've been around for 40 years, so I went through 9/11, and I went through, you know, what happened in 2008, and the bad, you know, where we lost everything, the financial crash, right? But this time, this hit everybody. You know, you couldn't go do a wedding because the venue wasn't there. The venue couldn't host a wedding because the catering people had no food. So all of a sudden, for the first time, everybody was back to ground zero. And I use that word out of respect. Everything got knocked down. Everything's here. So now all of a sudden you might have been 40 years into it. What the hell am I going to do? This is all I've ever done. Or 2 years into it going, well, I gave everything up to do this. Oh, actually, I have a side hustle. I'll keep doing that. Oh, but wait, my side hustle also got shut down. My 9 to 5 is different. All of a sudden it was like, we're equal now. So what are we going to do? So yes, they come in and like, oh, let's pivot, right? The second most used word in the COVID stuff was pivot. It was COVID and then it was pivot, right? But pivot is something I think we all need to do, right? We've all need to make some sort of pivot as we've went along and we've done things. And so in the club, you might have come in and sold us something or signed up for my course or signed up for this. I applaud those who found another way to survive, because we need to thrive in our industry and we need to survive. And as long as you're teaching others along the way, that's the people I want to connect to. That's the people I want to say, you know what, after all this gets back to a semi-normal, and full disclosure here for those wedding industry people and those not, while the media is telling you there's a big boom, it really is just leftover weddings from 2020 and 2021. There is no big boom. Because if you're not taking care of yourself now and investing in yourself now, come 2023, this will not get back to some sort of normal until 2024. So if you're out there right now grabbing all these jobs, you have to be a smart business person. You have to be a smart business person and put the money where you need to have it in your savings. Go back to what you were doing, but maybe amp it up a little bit so that when this happens again or something else comes along, you won't be depleting your bank accounts and you'll find another way. And if anything, we've all learned as business owners, human beings, there has to be something else that we can do that we're passionate about. If I can't do this, what's something else that I love to do? What's something else that I can do that's a purpose, that also is a business? So I think that's where we are right now in our clubhouse. We've got the core people left that are really wanting to teach and wanting to learn. And individuals like you and I, we want to do this for everybody, not just wedding pros, but any small creative business. I do think that our niche is in mindset teaching and coaching is good for anybody in life. But if you have a creative business, I think we can really hone in because we're both creative entrepreneurs. You know, we build our business around something to do and teach it to somebody. So I think that's the core of where we're at. And that's what community is about. And that's what will keep like-minded people together like you and I to keep wanting to grow and do something else. That friendship is formed, that bond is there from the goodness of wanting to do for the greater good, not for us necessarily to profit, but because we need to make an impact and we were all born to make an impact. And that's where we are right now.
Well, speaking of making an impact, I'm really curious because you have spent your career as a creative with amazing photography. And if you guys are listening to the podcast and you pop over to our YouTube page, you'll see some of her amazing photography on the YouTube, right? So I'm curious, where was the idea of Be Fabbo born? Where and how was this born?
20 or 30 years ago, and it's funny, I always get asked that question anytime I talk. I've had it probably about 20, 25 years. I've always said Be Fabbo. And it literally is like aloha. And it's become my brand. I mean, because I say it all the time. But I treat it as like the word aloha, you know, kindness, spirit, you know, what is it about you? Just be Fabbo, lead with kindness. And because that's my premise, everything can be worked out. We can all talk about things. That's the number one thing about miscommunication is there's no communication, right? People aren't listening. You know, we have to learn to be better listeners. And so Be Fabbo is like, be Fabbo. If that means today you're doing all of these things, be Fabbo at it. Embrace what makes you Fabbo. You know, now the words are like, what's your superpower? Well, Be Fabbo is the same type of thing. You know, it's that aloha, welcome spirit. You're welcome here. Be yourself. Invest in yourself. You know, the boom is here, but don't invest in the boom. Invest in your own boom, right? Invest in yourself to keep going forward. So when you're Be Fabbo, you're open and you're welcome and you're inclusive and you're just being the best. Be Fabbo. Be the best. Do your best. Learn from your best. And sometimes your best is all you got today is to get up and stand in front of your computer for 10 minutes. Be Fabbo at that. Anytime somebody wants to come into you or talk to you, offer extension with you. It's basically that, you know, that golden rule. Treat people like you want to be treated. Treat others that way. That's what I want Be Fabbo to become and be. And it's a spiritual, it's a mental, it takes on different meanings to different people. And that's why I really wanted a word that could take on a meaning that you couldn't find in a dictionary, but that encompassed a lot of things. So that's why I encourage everybody to be Fabbo. You are Fabbo. My job is to cheer you on to be even more Fabbo, because the secret is you already are, right? It's newsflash. You're what makes your business, Fabbo. You're what makes your business successful. You're what makes your business not move forward. You.
Right.
It's you, and people invest in you. So be Fabbo and share that spirit, and then grow that and just run with that. And it's become, people say it, people get used to it. They think about something and, oh my gosh, that's Fabbo. There's these Bobbyisms that people talk about. They hear me in their head. You know, it's like Sue Bryce, a really well-known photographer, always used to say, when you become a verb, you've made it, right? When you're a verb, oh, Bobbyism, or that's be Fabbo, that's a Bobby Fabboism. Or, you know, or like for her case, it's like, oh, you just Sue Bryce that. Well, lots of times people go, you've just Fabboed that. That's totally a Bobby. So when you become a verb, you made it, right?
You've arrived.
Let's all work towards being a verb, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that's so funny. Man, I could have used you on my shoulder about 10 years ago when I first launched as a speaker author coach, because I think I became a verb, but it wasn't good enough at the time for me. I'd take that verb back right now. I'd be like, come on, verb me.
Exactly. So reinvent that. Start using that verb. Start putting that there. Well, that's like, you guys got the hollas.
Yeah.
I mean, people just go holla. And I think that people associate whatever they want to associate me for. You know, I think I never wanted to be the greatest photographer. I didn't strive to be the top 100. I've been that once in my 40-year career. I'm a really good sports photographer. I make $2 or $3 every month off somebody's hockey photo or some hockey Hall of Fame, or when they reach their pinnacle, I get a little more money because they had to use those photos to tell their story, right? But I never set out to be the best of anything. I just want to deliver stories and memories. I want to deliver that collection. I'm the historian, right? I want people to remember where they are and what they were doing authentically. So I want to tell stories and images that are not superposed, that are things that are happening. You give a little bit of guidance. And so when you're speaking or talking or sharing, that becomes you. And so when people say, oh my gosh, the hollas, Jay always is wearing this great hat, and they start remembering that, those are things that you are doing that if you do not sit back as a human and realize that you've made an impact, they may not have bought $1, they have not bought one thing from you. But when people want to wear your shirt, so they want to wear your hat, or they go, oh my gosh, Jay, I was thinking of you, here's a hat. People send me Diet Mountain Dew coupons all the freaking time, right? That's why I gained 85 pounds, right? But they get to know that about you. And it's because you're authentically yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
Guys do that.
I love that. When I first started like training in high school or whatever, like the thing for me was, when someone needed something like physical or wellness related, they'd be like, oh, you need to holler at Jay. You need to holler at Jay. So that's how that became a thing, right? And even when the hollers became a thing, because of Clubhouse, the hollers became a thing. Thank you guys. They turned us into a verb. But everything was Jenny and Jay holla, right? And then it was like, oh, the hollers. Oh, the hollers. Oh, the hollers in the room. Oh, did you listen to the Hollastic Podcast? And I was like, Jen, I think we have something. Right.
Well, look at Wedding MBA. Yeah. It wasn't, have you met Jenny and Jay? It's like, oh, everybody met the hollers?
Yeah.
I mean, it just flows that way. Yep. Oh, yes, we have. Or anything that you do, it's like, you have your first names, right? And that's okay. But what they know about you is that. And I feel that if you know that and you just get Fabbo or you just get the hollas, we're doing something right, because we're making, somewhere along the line, we're getting through. We're getting you to change. We're getting you to take that first step to know that you need to get somewhere, is to know that you cannot stay where you are. And so if that means they have to sit there and go, man, I don't know what to do today, I'm trying to figure this out. And for some reason they go, oh, the hollas would tell me, there you go.
Right.
Right.
I don't have to call you, but something you said along the way, I can just hear Jay right now. I can hit holla, let's move forward.
Right.
What are you sitting there for? Change that mindset, shift that. Let's shift that confidence level. And that means we're doing something. And again, that's because we listen. We're not the type of coaches that are going to do the work for you. The answer's in the answer. We're gonna pull it out of you. We're gonna sit here, and that's what I'm hoping, and I know that's your hope too. What we're doing on series on the podcast is about is let's get you from that fixed mindset to that growth mindset, and we're gonna help you in 5 weeks. We want for the whole month of March. I deemed it on Clubhouse. Mindset is March is mindset month, and that's what we want to do. So the series that we're working, it's not to to help you make more money in your bank.
Right.
It's not to help you to, move on to your next greatest thing, but it's to give you the ability to know that you can.
Yep.
And that you deserve to, and forget about some of the things that they talk about. Don't worry so much about what happened before and on the stumbles. You're learning from that. You're learning from that because, is it Bruce Springsteen, I think is the boss. He always says that success just makes life easier. It doesn't make living easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still have to do a few things to get there. And the series that we're teaching and we want people to come along and do are the things that we believe in. And these are the simple steps to get you. If you want to put 6, 7, 8, 9 figures in the bank, here's some tools that will help you do that, but we're not going to do that for you.
Right.
And so when the Hollas say do this, or somebody thinks about it, that comes with responsibility. We carry the responsibility. Hey, we told you that. We didn't tell you it would work. You have to put the work in to do that. We're guiding you to get there. And so I think we become a verb. We all become a verb in how we take steps to do something for ourselves. And if we start believing that, we always talk about, Jay, especially you and I, that words have energy.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving certain words. Stop. Give that energy to stop doing that.
Right.
You can say, I can't do that and give it power. But if you say, today I'm going to accomplish this, just those phrases, now you've got, I'm going to accomplish this, give those words the power.
And that puts fuel in the tank.
Coming up with that verb. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to touch on something real quick before you jump to the next question.
No, it's perfect.
How I loved how you say, because there's a lot of people out there, the courses, the things that people buy into, and I feel people buy into these things because they feel this is the strategy that's going to get me to my next level.
I've done that almost my whole career.
This is the strategy. This is this is the thing. This is the blue ribbon blueprint for making my 6 figures. And it's like, no. There's no perfect strategy. You still have to work the strategy. Just because you sit in a room with a name brand speaker and you've bought their course, just because you bought their course doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You still have to do the work.
Yeah. Right. Well, and just if we take what we're talking about, 6 figures, you've just limited yourself. Why are we saying I want to make 6 figures? I mean, if you're going to make 6 figures, make 50 figures.
Right.
Why? I mean, why are we saying, in this course, you want to be a 6-figure, wedding industry? I mean, you have seen these courses. Yeah. You have seen these speeches. They're at Cater Source and Wedding and Bay, all these places is, let me teach you how to become a 6-figure caterer, or taking your current catering needs to the 6-figure mark. Why 6 figures?
Right.
Real listeners, 6 figures is $100,000. It's not 1.5 million. It's $100,000.
And you haven't even backed out your expenses. So really,
exactly. If you want to make 6 figures, to actually earn and say you have to make 8 or 9 figures. So why are we limiting ourselves on everything that we say? Even sometimes the course titles. Right. With us we're helping you. We're helping you go from fixed to growth.
Yep.
It isn't how do you accomplish a fix? No, we're helping you go from here to here, right? Questions that you ask are the whats and the whys and how can I? You reframe your life and you reframe what you're trying to do. So it's when you sit down to do something, somebody can give you all the swipe files. For $19.95, get all my swipe files. Do you still have to know how to implement the swipe files? Do I put them on Instagram? How do I have the Canva? And it's not there. And nobody's going to do what that person does.
Yep.
It's like, one of the phrases that you hear a lot is, let me show you the escalator, don't take the stairs. Well, you know what? If you take the stairs, you're probably going to learn a few more things. Yep. Because if you take the escalator and get up here, what are you going to do?
Right.
And when you take that damn escalator, you better like the damn view you're looking at, because now you're here. What are you going to do now that you're here?
It's usually somebody's rear end. You're looking at on the way.
I'm here. So you got me up the escalator. Am I supposed to go right or left? What do I do now?
Yeah. Having gone through this myself, I mean, I literally have invested tens of thousands of dollars in programs that have promised this and that and the third. And I can genuinely say that I was that person believing that, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get that. And then at the end, I'd be like, well, now what? And it was the same issue over and over and over. Self-confidence, trusting myself. And that's what Jay's really helped me see in this process. And I bring this up because from the outside, people see Jenny and they're like, oh my God, she's so confident. I wish I could be confident like her. Look, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. And I have finally come to understand and realize that the most power that I have is within me, not with everybody else. And I have searched so long and so far and so high for someone else to give me that answer. Right. And so in part of this journey, that's what's been so powerful in learning about being a coach and working with Jay and working with you and really just saying exactly what I just wanted to bring it out, because it's like, how can we empower you to make that decision for yourself? I mean, that's the most empowering thing.
And you also touched on the fact that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time, but you're willing to, here's the steps. Yeah. Would you like to walk along with me? I'm not 25 feet in front of you and come along. Would you like to walk this with me? I'm your guide. I don't sit there and say, I help people do this. I don't. I assist you. I inspire. I guide you. I'm not helping you. You have to help yourself. And so I always sometimes think that help is sometimes used as a word, talk about giving it power, is a word of privilege. Who am I to say, right? I'm not, but I can guide you and I can inspire you. Let's walk this path along, because I guarantee you, I learn just as much from every one of my students as they get from me.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, I just worked 3 months with you. Here's the things that we did. Along those 3 months, I tweaked this and I tweaked that. I listened a little differently. I now know what to do for the next person. Is it better or greater? It's different. And so when you say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time, you're owning the fact that, but I'm here to listen.
Yep.
Let's try to do this together. Don't take the same path I'm taking, but I will tell you this, I've fallen down on this area. And one of the areas that I fell hard on was I put my trust in the wrong person, or I bought all these courses and they sat. So while I own that, and you can do that, but if you want to bypass owning all those courses, why don't we work on something together and create your own course? Let's create a course for your life. I mean, the greatest thing for us is when our students go off and do better than us. Yeah. I want you to do better than me. I don't want to make courses, but by Jiggy, if something I help you in a 3-month one-on-one makes you make a $299 or a $3,000 course, and you're making $10,000 and $12,000 a month, knock yourself out.
Right.
I'm glad I guided you there.
Right. I think too, a lot of people are looking for the door to be opened. Yep. And individuals like us, we're giving you the skeleton keys.
Yep.
If for those of you who don't know what a skeleton key, basically a skeleton key can open any door.
Right.
So while you're waiting for someone else to open the door, we're basically giving you the keys to the castle.
Exactly. And if you don't want to go in the front door, go in the back and go in a window.
Right.
There's more than one way to get to you want to go. Rivers know this. And in the world of nature, take rivers. Rivers all flow. Sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go slow, but they all know they're going to go down and feed into whatever they got to feed into. We as human beings are going to get where we need to get, because where we need to get has already been determined for us, right? What are the steps we're going to take? What path along the journey? Are we going to go left sometimes? Are we going to go right? Here's the door. My key isn't fitting. Why can't I get in? Why? Whoever you want to in the universe, why is this key not working? Stop for a second and be the why. Because I'm asking the key to work. I haven't done any work. I want the key to do all the work. But if I walk around to the back and I see a window, is that a shortcut? Can I bypass the front door? I can't get in the front door, but maybe. Okay, look what's happening. You're rethinking.
Yep.
You're thinking outside the box. So stop and think about how you can make this key work for you, because it's you that puts it in and turn it. The key has no power. It's the knowledge to know to put the key in the door and turn it. That's the knowledge. That's the power. The key is just the tool that you get to get the door. And then I ask the question again to listeners and everybody else. When the door opens, what do you do? And at what point do you turn around and start saying, man, this was hard. I know if I could help 1 or 2 people not bruise their knee every single day, but 2 days a week, or not get stitches on every single time they try something, or to be deflated and to be defeated and not give up. If I can just help somebody believe that they have the power in their hand to open the door, I'm going to turn around now and bring more with me, because I haven't got where I need to get yet.
Right.
But come along with me and let's push each other. Success is the definition that somebody wants. Success is everybody's, how they want to define it. You all have heard me say, to me, success is the freedom to do and choose and be and go anywhere I want to go without having to worry about the money.
Right.
You know, to me, that's freedom. Is today I might want to just go and sit in Boise and ski. Also might want to sit in a corner coffee and help somebody over. I want that freedom. But the other success is $9.5 million in the bank. Again, right. No right or wrong here. But you have the power. And we all don't have the magic answer, or why are we still teaching this stuff? If we all knew so much and we were all so truly successful, why are we just sitting wherever we want to sit? But people like you and I are helpers.
Right.
We're servers. The three of us want you. We are not perfect, and we're still growing every day. But let's do it together.
Right.
Let's come along. You know, and if we can help you get the door open faster and have more power and get in, all I ask is that you turn around and do the same for somebody else.
Yep.
If you take that damn escalator, the elevator up to the top, push the button and send it back down. That's all we're asking, right, along the way. But when you own it, like you did, Jenny, that you don't know all the answers, that's what coachings need. That's what coaches, in my opinion, need to understand.
Yep.
I don't have the answers.
We're not supposed to. We're not consultants. We're not consulting you on how to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No. We're helping bring out
exactly what you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, I was just thinking as we were talking about this, we're demonstrating what coaching and mindset coaching is, because I've been asked before, like, what is mindset coaching? I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? And because I think a lot of times people maybe really, really like the belief system that they've been wearing their whole life.
Right.
So to think about changing it is like, why, what? Like, let me just do these things. And mindset coaching, I think that you've demonstrated aspects of it. You know, it's helping you to shift your perspective, helping you to put on or try on an even more empowering mindset that can help you open the door.
Right.
Would you add anything to like what you feel like mindset coaching is?
Well, yeah, and I think the same thing. I think a lot of people compare it to spirit, to spirituality, and where it's not so much religious, but it is that belief that there is something out there greater helping you. Whatever you want to believe in, but I think it's a belief. It comes from the core of my mind is my mind.
Right.
How am I going to use it? Right. Mindset. The word itself, just like networking is working. Mindset. Set your mind to fail, succeed, whatever you want. You know, Jay, you often say you talk about habits, right? Well, true. It's people don't decide their futures. Their habits decide what their futures do.
Yep.
You're always talking about habits, right? What you're doing. If you're stuck, if you're not going to look at what you're doing, it probably is that you get up every day and you're expecting 75 emails, but you didn't do anything to let anybody know to email you. Your habits are, well, I got up today and I got done by noon. Or here's my checklist, check my email for an hour, because Bobby says spend an hour doing this. So an hour doing emails, you did that and you're like, what else? But it's a habit.
Right.
You still took my guidance as a habit, but you didn't put the work in.
Right.
So mindset is the ability to help others see within themselves and those that are around them. Because I firmly believe you want to see where we're going to be in 5 years, look at the 5 people you're standing around. You want to see, I truly believe that philosophy works.
Yep.
But you have to have something to get you going. Passion is going to get you here. Passion got all of us here. But there is more to passion. You better bring grit.
Yep.
You better bring, major attitude with you. And it's like, it's different than affirmations, and it's different than being grateful every day. You have to have your mind set so that you can do affirmations, so that you can be grateful, have that life.
Yep.
But you also have to live your life, right? Our stories are lives lived. We have to live what we're doing. If I look at Jenny and Jay and say, hey, they must be successful. You know why? Because I see at noon that they're outside hiking. I see that on a Tuesday evening, they're going to a hockey game. Jenny and Jay must be hugely successful. And if that's what somebody wants to read about you or get from your post, that's their mind telling them that Jenny and Jay is successful. Does that mean they're going to hire Jenny and Jay to coach them? If I want to go to hockey games and have my afternoons, I might want to know what they're doing. What's that secret? What's that recipe?
Right.
And they come to you and you put it back and say, mindset. Why are you telling yourself you can't do those? You don't need us right now. You want to go to a hockey game, buy a ticket.
Yep.
You want to go skiing, go skiing. What around you on that time or those days or activities would be halted, would be paused, might even be okay if you went ahead and did that.
Yep.
What are you telling yourself?
I love how you said you don't need us, because that's something I say all the time. And I feel that coaches want to market themselves as, you need me to do this. Nobody needs you. There's enough information out there. Like, I want people to, like you just said, I see that you and your wife are out doing all this, and like, what are you doing? I want to learn. That's a different type of energy behind that, because honestly, you don't need what me and Jenny have. You can go out, you can research, you can do whatever, but we want to attract the people who want to work with us, because they know, like, learning from us will get them from the point A to B to C to D to D.
And they're going to see the process. They're going to see you living your life. We're living mindset coaching. Right. We're living a physical life. We're living what we are saying, right? We put all our stuff, sold it all, and we're doing the nomad thing. Oh my God, that must make you successful. Did you hear the first part of it? We sold all our things to go and do what we want to do. We chose. We made up our minds that we were doing this. We set our intentions to be able to do this for 1 year, 2 years, whatever the length. Our story is, this is the path that we're taking. Success looks like this for Jenny and Jay now. Success right now for Bobbi is going out and shifting into doing workshops, into shifting, bringing in-person things back that are not what we see in the market. We have blueprints. I don't want you to buy my blueprint. I want you to come and experience it for me. I don't want to do the work for you. I want you to come and be immersed. And the course, like we're teaching, and the way that we live our lives, I'm living what I want to be doing.
Right.
Tell your mind that, how do I get to do those things? If you want to write down your goal is to be a nomad for a year, then people like you and I can help you get there. Because we're telling your mind. We're going to guide you to help yourself. Right. Because the help has got to come from you. Right. You have got to want that. You know that phrase, if you give up on something, you never wanted it bad enough anyway. So here it is. Yeah. What is it that you want to do? Because when you start doing and you start thinking, so whatever you think is what you're doing. And then whatever you're doing is what you could be. Whatever you be is what you can become. You know, so be different, do differently, try differently. It's like I said yesterday, the other day in the thing, learn fast and learn often. Yep. And don't stop doing that.
Yeah. We just recently rewrote our positioning statement to say that we help people, we coach entrepreneurs to get the fuck out of their own way, unlock their full potential, so that everything we're talking about, you can have that freedom, that fun, that confidence, that joy, it's, as you were saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. Sometimes it takes me a minute, and Jay's there, right? Jay's there, like,
welcome to the party.
Yeah, he's always like, welcome.
I saved you a seat.
I'm like, oh my God, yes, this is what we're doing.
That's why I've been telling you. It's why I've been coaching you on the whole time, you know. But that's the beauty of it, and that's a great segue too. Is things are going to be changing. You know, goals are meant to be flexible. Right. Life is hard, everybody. Life is hard. Now, if you want to be a business owner, I don't care if it's you own the coffee shop or you own the bike repair shop. Or you own a t-shirt shop and the busiest, beach in Hawaii. It's hard. Tourists keep coming in and you may not have to do anything. But at one point, what happens when tourists can't come in and you only did the one thing? All of a sudden, you start telling yourself, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, you just were running $1 million company selling t-shirts on North Beach in Hawaii. You didn't have to do anything but put t-shirts up that says I'm in North Beach, Hawaii. The people are already in North Beach, Hawaii. Why do they need a t-shirt telling them, right? So you're there, but then you want to wear that shirt somewhere else. So the path that you want to make is what you want to make it. And you have to set your mind that, you know what, this is my goal. I don't care if I fall down. I don't care if anybody else around me, because we talk about that a lot in our course. If somebody else is telling you that you can't do that, your parents are going to probably tell you, oh, that's great, honey. Let us know when you want to come back and do something. Heck, people still ask me what it's like to be a starving artist. When am I going to get a real job? Because nobody really knows what I do either. They just see that I'm emceeing somewhere, I'm a moderating. What is that? Well, it's helping others and guiding others and putting people in a room to get them to think, right?
Yeah.
So you have to surround yourself by those people that are going to say, whoa, or keep going. But if you want to go somewhere differently than everybody else, then go somewhere differently. And if you have coaching and people around you, because we're not going to stop you.
Right.
And if you want to go down that path, I'm just going to ask you the questions that that get you to the point that you want to take that path. But you have to determine your end. And again, sometimes being in such a hurry to get where we want to get to that we're not even embracing where we are now. That's part of mindset too.
Mm-hmm.
To stop and appreciate where you are, to embrace right now your accomplishments. When we look back in the past, without going political, but here's the world we're in. Did we not learn anything from the past?
Right.
Right. So in your business or your life journey, you look back. And you look back only to say, you know what, look at what I've accomplished. Look at the things that and accomplish is a word that I want you to understand you should embrace. You accomplish these things, big or small. It's a win. I like the word accomplishment. I accomplished. I won that, but was I really trying to beat it up? Was I really in a fight with that? No, you know what? I accomplished this through struggles and strife. I accomplished this. So when you look back and you say, this is how I got here today. This is the way that I got here. We look back to learn how good we were doing then, the steps we took, how much we improved, what we accomplished to where we are now. Those, when we look back that way, will help us be able to look in the future. That all, I firmly believe, comes from that mindset.
That's
Set yourself right.
Perfect segue into something else, because I love how you just said that. As business owners, you do quarterly forecasting.
Yep.
I want to, this is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. This is what I want to make. Oh, you track your expenses, you track your profits. Why don't we do that in our personal lives?
Exactly.
Like, it's all data, it's all feedback. So you could be like, oh, I noticed I meditated for this amount of time and I got these results.
Yep.
Now I had a crappy day. What didn't I do? And then you look back, like you were just saying, you're like, I didn't do X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
So it's all the stuff. See, and this is why I love Bobbi so much, because we could like sit here and just talk all day. But it's just like people go out for these strategies, but the real work is with you. Like you want, like she said, you don't want those you want that 9.5 billion in your account. Why limit yourself? But the work starts with you. It's not the perfect strategy. It's not, being a member of Oprah's book club, but she probably has some pretty good books in that book club.
Exactly.
But you have to still read the book and apply what you've learned. But it goes back
and
to
embody it.
And the underlining common denominator is mindset is the foundation to the empire you're trying to build.
Right. And think about that. If you do get one of Oprah's great book clubs, think about why you were attracted to that book. It's where your mind is right now. Oh, I'm going to grab this book because it's invisible mindset. Somebody says I don't have it, or I'm feeling low, or you do the how to pick yourself up, or we all know that how to succeed in business by getting whatever, or grab the old Zig Ziglar book back in the days. One of these people, right? So you bought that book because at the moment something was telling you, well, if I just get this book, I'll change my life. Your mind was telling you, and you gravitated to what was there, that shiny object. Oh, you're saying exactly what I needed to say. Well, sure. And when we're three talking and we're in our Clubhouse rooms, we're saying the things that you need to hear, but we're just saying the things that every single person needs to hear.
Right.
How it sits, how it resonates, how you receive it is how you're open for it. That's why I always say, come with open hearts and come with open minds, because somehow something's going to see through. And if it doesn't today, it will later, right? So your mindset, if you want to build a better business, you have to build a better person. And when I say better, I just means better for whatever you want to feel. If you want to sit there and put that you need to go to Disneyland and you have to make this amount of money, what are you going to do in your income to get to Disney? But I'm going to tell you that if you don't get your mind right and your head right, when you go to Disney, you're going to be so freaking mentally exhausted that you're not going to enjoy the wrath and the gratitude of all your work.
Right.
Mhm.
So when you sit there and start, I want to start every day with my mindset. I want to start every single day with affirmations. We don't care how you start. Find a system for yourself.
Yep.
Work-life balance is one of the biggest struggles. It's a topic we hear about all the time, right? Mindset can help you. It's not going to solve that problem because you still have to make these choices. It goes back to your habits.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? What do you want to do? You have to ask yourself these hard questions. Then only you can start applying them. Then you surround yourself with people that might be, okay, I could get this done if I got that person to come here and help with this. I could get to this point if I added this and added this. Raise your prices if you need to, whatever it is, to add more value to get you where you need to get quicker. And if you need to get somewhere quicker, that will help your mindset. Put your mindset to the spot that I need to go here quicker. And how do I get there? Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I think as we God, we've talked about so many things as we really wrap up this short chat. Well, short in our world, the listeners like, yo, we've already been
relatively.
I know, right? No, I want to end the podcast with just chatting a little bit about our series.
Yep.
And, just so you guys know what's coming, because you've got some really powerful things that are coming. The three of us put together a 5-part series that we are doing live on Clubhouse, and we are going through different aspects of mindset, different aspects to help you get from that fixed to the growth mindset. We're talking about different topics. We have worksheets that are asking you those really challenging questions that can seem really easy, right? But it's like digging deep, pulling it out, weeding the garden. And so I'd love to hear, Bobbi, just where from your end, where the inspiration came for us to put this together, and then why would the listeners want to listen on the podcast for the next 5 episodes,
Right.
These little sessions?
Well, it started, truth, and as I reached out to you guys, I said, one of the things that I'm noticing is that we get the same group of people, and every single freaking time we do a room, you guys are doing your rooms and you're talking about your wellness. I do my own room about business, and yet they come in with the same exact questions for both of us. I'm like, did you not just hear that from the Hollas? Or did you not just hear that from me? What is it? So when I reached out to the country, here's one of the questions. What's the deal with the resistance? Why are we resisting listening, right? And let's be real. They're not even paying to hear us talk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A Clubhouse.
Right.
Mhm.
This is we're doing this for free.
Right.
Right? They're not even hearing us. So why are you resisting? Well, maybe we should charge for it. Would you, if you had to pay for it, I do believe that if you had to pay for something, you take it a little more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But this has to be what we've seen now over a year. And we have watched some of our members that have sat in our rooms reach beyond. They've done what we've asked. Be braver than you think. You're braver than you know. Stand up here unless they're hearing your voice. So they're stepping into it. Or like next week's episode of Monday, they're leaning into their seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the series is all about these 5 areas that I saw throughout our Clubhouse time. And whether we went in one room together or whether we're separate, the same thing kind of came up. And I'm like, it's mindset. And I was speaking at an event, and I was in South Carolina, and I was speaking to this group of wedding, and the same thing happened. Some of these people have seen me speak every time I come. Their questions are different, but what I'm hearing is the same root to the problem. And this 5 week series isn't going to solve that, but man, it's going to help you, because when you print off these worksheets, I hope next week you look at it and it's different.
Yep.
Or a week from now, you go back and you look at those questions and now you have different answers. Guiding. We're here for you. We're taking the journey with you. And you reach out and you talk to us and you want some one-on-one, let us help you with some one-on-one, right? But start thinking right now that you are the reason, you are the roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move the roadblock. And every time we're doing these Clubhouse rooms, I see our members who I've really grown to really like and enjoy, but I just, sadly, they're not living up to their potential.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that for them.
Right.
But I felt that if the 3 of us sat down in a room, whether they came or not, we were going to record the room and we were going to have it for our podcast. It's going to be on my podcast. It's going to be your podcast. And hopefully we'll take it on the road. and people can come see us in person. And every time we do this, listeners, it's going to be different.
Yep.
Every room. The same people are going to listen to a replay and get something different out of it because we're trying to meet you where you are.
Yep.
And these 5 weeks are your questions that you come up with, my questions, and we marry them together. And I want listeners to know there's not a script here. We open up the room and we start talking because we have genuine conversation. We just start. I don't want to have a script. The questions are our script. And then whatever we're feeling on that day, whatever might be in our mind or what we feel, because I do believe you can still feel through audio, the energy in the room, who comes, how fast they got there. So I wanted to do this series to help our regular listeners, to help some new listeners. And if they just take 5 weeks where they concentrate on one thing, where in the other rooms, we're kind of bouncing around when we do something, but this is a 5-week series that come back, don't come back, however you get this information, the podcast or the replays, it's 5 weeks of us coming into you, that repetitiveness, not taking you off. It literally is a mindset study. Put in your earbuds, listen several times. One day you get this, one day you get that. And we're being honest and authentic when we share it, not coming to you from a script. It's a candid conversation. And that's why I think we needed it and why it was important and why I knew I had to do it with you guys.
No, it's perfect. And I mean, if you're watching, you're seeing Bobbi in all her Fabbo-ness. If you're listening, you're feeling Bobbi in all of her Fabbo-ness. And really, that's why, I mean, we really did this spur of the moment. I was like, Bobbi, you got to come on the podcast so that way our listeners can meet you and know like, okay, this is whose voice is going to show up on the next 5 episodes. And even for you guys to understand that this was important for us, because like we said earlier, yes, we are talking to wedding pros in this clubhouse. It is the Wedding Pros Clubhouse room, but this applies to entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs, small business owners, and really anybody. So if you're not that and you're listening to our podcast, you're still going to get something from it because the mindset principles and foundations are the same. Now, granted, if you don't have a business, you'll hear some questions saying, hey, how does this show up in your business? So if you don't have a business and you're entrepreneurial and you're attracted to our podcast and you listen, you can replace that with your job or your career.
Or if you're thinking of starting a business.
Or that.
Think about that. Well, what would this look like in my business? And I want your listeners and everybody to know that while that I'm the admin of the club, we're all going to take the lead differently. Like on week 3, Jay's going to take the lead and start off, and then Jenny will start off. We're taking turns because not one of us are any better at anything than the other. Collectively, we bring the same point of view, but in a different way to present it. So we're taking the lead and we're all sharing. It's not just us talking for the full 90 minutes. We're going to talk for about 30 minutes, listeners, and then we're going to ask the questions coming up. And I do know, like last week, I shared with them that people are like, don't ask questions. You guys keep talking. And we can do that. And we're going to meet you where you are. But through this podcast, you're able to reach out with questions or do something. And I know I'm going to run my podcast, and then you all are going to come at the end of the series and come on the podcast and talk about it. But I'm going to put in my podcast the download so people can get that and kind of work on it so that you can work on it, go back and listen to the podcast and work on that. And so again, I think it was something that was needed. And I think it was a time for us before we get ready to go into that second big quarter. We've reflected a little bit on 2022. We got our feet underneath us again. And I think even in life, without business related, people are starting to go out and live again. They're feeling safer. So now your mindset might be, what's the worst that can happen if I go out and try this? Could you possibly get sick? But you could have got sick before. And I am not making light of any of that, but we have to start moving forward. So start telling your mind that I'm going to go enjoy this and not if I go, what could happen? Because if you do that, you're not going to enjoy it.
Well, you're going to attract it.
And we're going to, exactly. Yeah. Today, we're going to go out and we're going to enjoy on the slopes. Today, we're going to go out and enjoy our bike ride. This is what we're doing for this time. Whatever happens during that time, whatever conversation, whatever ideas flow, energy goes where energy flows. So take that. And that's why this series is, I think, the right time right now for it, business or in life.
Another great point. I love how you just said where energy goes. Whatever the saying is. We were talking, and I just want to put it out there. Like, yes, I'm a part of this series, but Jenny and Bobbi are the masterminds behind this worksheet. Like there was so many. Me and Jenny have we monitor the same account, our Instagram account, the 2J Holla. There's so many messages going back and forth. I was like,
and it's even funny. I took Jay's phone once and I replied with like the black hands, and I was like, Bobbi, it's still Jenny. She's like, oh God, now I'm confused. Like,
but again, and that just tells your listeners that this wasn't a fixed course.
right.
You know, we have the idea. How about we try this?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's in place. Jenny did the graphics for the whole series. They're done. And then we've got the worksheets now. We just change the colors to go. You know, we try to do that branding thing, right? we're looking at all that, right? But the point is the words that we're sharing, the words that are on the paper. Yeah. But we had one very simple idea to guide our listeners in Clubhouse, in our podcast. What's holding you back? Why is everybody so resilient? So this course comes to that. And so that just goes to show when 2 people or 3 people are like-minded, you can ask that question and go, what do you think about this? And something comes back and you're like, God, that's what I was thinking. Or I had not thought of that.
Right.
You know, and then you throw that back to Jenny. She comes back, okay, here it all done. Here's the graphics. And then, okay, well, let's try the worksheet. Yep. And so again, it's that collaborating. It wasn't one person and it went off the rail. And I want you all to hear that. We did it. You know, we spent a little bit of time going back and forth. The concept was there. We committed to it. And now we work on the worksheets. It's done.
And it flowed.
The work on there is done because the work happens in the room and on the podcast.
Yep.
These are just the stepping stones. And it took us no time at all to get the stepping stone because we just want to help you get where you're going, guiding you to get there.
And I love how people
guiding you through helping you to get there with the stuff.
Just grouping us together. Like, what are you doing, Bobbi? What are you doing with the Hollas? Like we just they just automatically like partnered and stuff.
Exactly.
So the very first episode that you guys are going to hear in the series next week is your mindset empowering. So that's the very first one that's going to come out. We'll probably do a little intro before it, then you'll hear the audio, all the Clubhouse audio. Bobbi, where can listeners find you and connect with you if they want to really tap into more of your Fabbo-ness?
So you can find me on Instagram. That's easy way. It's just Bobbi, Bobbi Brinkman, Brinkman. And my website is bobbibrinkman.com. The new site should be launched tomorrow. I'm hitting the new button on it, revamp. Took a lot of things. We talk a lot about mindset. I removed the things out of my website that was not bringing me joy. So it's still the same site. It's just pages are gone because it wasn't bringing me joy. And if I can't do that in joy, I can't serve you, right? So I got rid of some of those. So bobbibrinkman.com is the website. You can find me on, Clubhouse at Bobbi Brinkman. And on my website always says where I'm speaking, where I'm going. And so anytime I'm anywhere, make sure to come up and see me. If I'm speaking, I will stay to the last person. I'm that speaker. I will stay to the last person has a question. And then of course, anytime you want to take me for drinks or food, that's always welcome. The more inviting you make me to your city, the more likely I will serve you up a wonderful dish of motivation from the stage. So that kind of thing. So that's where you can find me, and that's where I hang out, and you can grab a Fabbo chat. All the information is right there. Fabbo chats are just, ask me anything, pick my brain, only it's just, branded for Fabbo chats because you're already there. I just got to get you past it.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Make sure you guys reach out to her, see her in person if you have the opportunity, follow all of us on Instagram.
Yep.
Enjoy the series, change your life, reach out to us. Let us know how the series has impacted you. We really want to hear that. Here's the thing that I think happens sometimes. People think that, these leaders, these speakers, these companies are bigger than they are. Like right now where we're at, if you reach out to any of us on Instagram, like it's us replying. Yeah. It's not like an assistant. It's us. You're going to get us. Like we're going to talk to you. And
I'm probably going to respond to you in voice because my dyslexia, I will write you back and go, what the hell? Is that a yes or a no? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't read your question. So I'm thinking this. So everybody's had to adapt to Bobbi and doing voice. So I either get back to you in voice or a voice text, and sometimes that's even worse because I can't read the text that goes back to you to know. But that's what it goes about, to just owning who you are. Yeah. Whatever limitations that the world thinks you have, own it on yourself and don't limit yourself. Just adapt to what you can do to be here.
Yes, what a great episode. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Bobbi, for being here.
Thank you.
We are super excited. You guys are going to continue to see the Hollastic Life Podcast grow. If you are not following us on Instagram, follow us there. If you are not following our YouTube yet, and you guys want to see our faces while we do certain podcasts, we're not moving the whole podcast to YouTube, but we will have certain episodes on there and other teachings, so you can follow us on there. Anything else you want to say, Jay?
Nice.
He's like, it's wrap. Let's go.
Exactly.
All right,
Peace
guys.
and gratitude, my friends. Peace and gratitude. Thank you for your space today. I appreciate it.